great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Beatsmith music.
Welcome to the Pharoah NFL channel, man. Welcome to the tune that we call the Pharoah NFL channel, man. Everybody that's pulled up, I see y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. Man, we got a lot to talk about. I know it's been a tough season so far, but we got a lot to talk about today. The Raiders Jaguars aftermath. The Abrams got cut. Oh my God. You know what I mean? And my co-host is backstage. He's chilling. He's enjoying the music. I see him nodding his head. We gonna bring him on soon. But look, let me get to the chat, man. Sean Johnson pulling up, man. Salute to you, brother. Appreciate you coming through. SVT in the building, man. Salute to you, brother. Van City says, yo, what's good, gentlemen? Let's talk about it for sure. We're gonna talk about we have a lot to talk about today, man. Because, man, when I say I had a rant, I mean I didn't have a crazy rant on Sunday, but that was the closest that you'll see from me, at least, as far as a rant. And ONT6 soldiers in the building, man. He says, "Pause, SVT." What did he say? What did he say? Hold on. Let me just get to it. You know what? We're not gonna put you on blast. Let's just get to this comment real quick. SVT, man, what's up? What's up, G? Let's get it super loud. All right. Raiders. All right. That shit. I'm only doing one of those, man, because sometimes, man, I ain't gonna lie, that should be taking a lot out of me. Okay, let's see. Who's in the building? We got Alex Marquez, man. I appreciate you coming through. What's good, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. Rod Gas, my God, man. Salute, Pharoah. Shout out to Mexico. Salute to Mexico. Raider Nation for life. Facts, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. But without further ado, let me bring on my co-host, Raider Ray. What's good, my brother? How you doing?
Hey, what's good, bro? What's good, chat?
Man, that game on Sunday, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about it, man, because we haven't even had a chance to talk to anybody about it. I mean, we talked a little bit after the game. I had like my little rant that no one really seen. No one's seen that rant. All they seen is me like posting on social media. But I was heated, man, because 3 games, 3 17-point blown leads. And at this point, in my opinion, you got to look at coaching. Obviously, the players they have their fair share of criticisms, but this is not a mentally tough team that we're seeing this year. Last year was a tough team, and we'll talk about why that is. But what did you think of the game? What did you think of the game last week?
You know what I mean? It was one of those situations where you go up by 17 points and you just know that this game isn't over. And I was just waiting for the collapse. And I hate to say that, but I was just waiting for all right, watch them score a touchdown. They put up 7, and they did it kind of with some ease. And I was like, here we go. You know what I mean? Like, put the seatbelt on because this is going to be a long game. And then, of course, they come out the second half. They don't produce. And really, man, it's just – we talked about it. We talked about it on the preview show that we're going to see where the locker room is, where the team is at with how they respond in the Sunday's game. And I thought that they came out really well. I thought that they came out hot and they started fast, but they didn't finish. So that's where this football team's at, man, at this point. Honestly, we are exactly what our record is. We're a 2-6 football team, and it shows.
Yeah, facts, 100%. Like we are what our record says. What did the great Bill Parcells said that? You know what I mean? You're exactly what your record is, and that's what the Raiders are at this point. They're a 2-6 team, and that's a tough pill to swallow because at the end of the day, like they have talent on this team. You know what I mean? Derek Carr got his, the best receiver in the game, his best friend, and he's not coming through. You know what I mean?
He might not be playing with them too much longer, to be honest with you.
And I want to say this real quick. I forgot to mention that I'm going to be doing a 1K drawing. So I got everybody who signed up. I'm gonna pick out a winner, and then there's gonna be a prize. and hopefully, man, y'all enjoy it, man. But we'll get to that later in the show. But go ahead. So you was about to say something?
No, I just where we're at, bro. I said that Derek Carr and Devontae Adams might not even be teammates that much longer. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, I could see Derek Carr obviously being here for another year, and then you go and taking somebody, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But no, man, I was just backpacking on what you were talking about, and really, man, this team is just not where we thought it was going to be. But at this point, they've taken on the identity of their head coach, plain and simple. And I don't technically ever go on rants. I don't ever. I would say Sunday was the most emotional as well that you'll probably see me. And maybe I wasn't completely grounded in reality. Obviously, I knew that Mark Davis wasn't just going to go out there and fire Josh McDaniels, but you have to lead the question, like, what is best for this organization? And I know that creating a revolving door at the head coach never generates success, but if you have a head coach in place where you clearly identify that he's not a leader of men and that this is not a tough football team, this isn't Raiders football, are you almost pigeonholing this organization by holding on to him for 2 to 3 more years and really losing all the talent that you have? The Max Crosbys, the Devontae Adams, the Hunter Renfros, all those expiring contracts in 3 years, and are you going to waste that away? Is it salvageable? Like, can you get this locker room back if indeed he has lost it? So there's a lot of questions, man, and there's a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen anything. We the people. I guess Max Crosby about to get exposed. He's on the verge of being cut. No, I don't even want to put that in the air, bro. I don't even want to put that in the air.
I mean,
Josh Jacobs? Are you serious?
I don't know.
Hey, the chat, has anything been released?
I don't think nothing's been released yet.
If you
guys,
released?
let me know what you guys
know.
have heard, because I've been hearing about Max Crosby, potentially Josh Jacobs. Like, look, let's not just like talk about it. If something's been put out there and we got like some tangible stuff, then we'll talk about it. But until the stuff plays out, look, there is something going on behind the scenes. That's all I'll say. There's something going on behind the scenes, and there's going to be some big news dropped, and it involves a superstar on our roster.
SVT Vasquez said it has to be coaching. We aren't getting blown out. Besides the Saints, we had chances to win, but time management or play calling seems off. See, this is the thing. I'm not even looking at it from that aspect. And this was part of my rant, and it was valid too, if you really think about it. Like, because I thought about it. It's been couple of days since I ranted, and the thing is that so far, what this Raiders team has shown us in 8 games is that they're mentally weak. They're mentally soft. When they get hit in the mouth, they fold.
Yep.
When it's the fourth quarter, they fold. Now, I know I was one of the biggest critics of John Gruden, but at the end of the day, the things that he brought to the table to the team was the fact that he was tough. He was tough, and they played big in big moments. They didn't fold. They were a tough football team. But this year, the Raiders are not a tough football team, and that's a reflection of the head coach.
And dude, that's what I'm talking about is you can hang on to this all you want, but if this is the identity, if this is the foundation and the culture that he's established, and make no mistake about it, this Raiders team bought into Josh McDaniels. I want that to be loud and clear. And what they've done is they've bought into somebody who's soft, and it's translated onto the field. They don't show up in big moments. Like you alluded to, once they get punched in the mouth, they fold. And I hate to say that about my own team, but it's true. It's what we've seen week in and week out. And we've given this team time to develop, right? We've given them, hey, let's give them some time. Let's see what they can do. And over the course of this season, man, we've seen the same thing. One half of football, you play really well. The other half, you completely fold and break. There's no excuse for giving up almost 20-point leads. When you have a 17-point lead, that's when you go out there and you put some teams away. So, to be honest, man, if this is going to be the Josh McDaniels era, I'm not that excited about it. And we can talk about a few ways that we could go about that, but is this going to be recoverable? Is this something that he comes back next season and everything is just different? I don't think it's that easy.
Nah. And that's the thing too. Just last week, I dropped a video, and one of the main points of that video was the fact that, you know, if someone had to go, it would be Carr before Josh McDaniels, because he just got here. He's on a guaranteed deal. Obviously Mark Davis wants to reap the rewards from signing him to that contract, that guaranteed contract. So he's going to get a second year. But I did also say in that same video, I said that if there's not any extreme circumstances, he should get a second year. And in my opinion, if Mark Davis is a smart man and he looks at this team and he sees how this team is mentally weak, they're folding in big moments. He's not a leader of men. He hasn't answered that question. You know what? To be honest, he has answered that question. He has answered. It's been 8 games, and you got players in the locker room calling you out. I don't know what Derek Carr was about to say in that press conference. Who knows? But that's the most I've seen from Derek Carr as far as, like, usually he's a super positive guy and we'll do this. But he looked like he wanted to say some stuff.
He does, but it's also still too passive for me. Like,
yeah,
if you've lost it, like, okay, if you're at a point where you're about to lose this locker room and you're about to lose this team, and you're 8 weeks into a new regime as a leader of the franchise, regardless of you trying to be cool with Josh McDaniels, this is the time where you step up and acknowledge, hey, look, there's an issue here in this organization. This is what it is, and this is what we need to do to address it. All this passive, I'm going to put it on my coach, and you can ask him all that. Like, that's how problems don't get solved. So I get it. He did look more frustrated than ever before, I would say, when it comes to just kind of calling out the team. But still, dude, it's still too passive for me.
And I agree with you, Daniel Kim, because I see some comments in the chat about rumors. For right now, we're just going to treat them as rumors until we see something out. Until we see some, like, concrete, then we'll talk about it. We can't talk about something that's like that could happen, possibly happen, because I don't want to.
Nah, that ain't
our. You know what I mean? We don't know for sure. You know what I mean? What how much information? And unless someone can tell me right now where I can get that information, because I didn't see anything on Twitter, I didn't see anything on social media, I didn't see anything on anywhere in the media. Just hopefully there's nothing going on with the Raiders as far as that on that front. But Severe Raider says, how many regimes do we have to go through before we start pointing the finger at the one constant on the roster? Woo!
Thanks, bro.
And we'll get into that too, man.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, man.
I mean, let's just get it out of the way. I mean, DC is going to get brought up. It's going to get brought up, so let's just kind of talk about it. And he has been the one constant on the roster. So, yeah, and let me say this too, because I have been pointing blame at Derek Carr, which is very unlikely of me. I've been a huge supporter of Derek Carr. I'm not a Kardashian, nothing like that. I watch film, I know, but this is the year where I'll say, hey, look, the things that were Derek Carr's strengths are starting to become weaknesses. His accuracy, his timing on his route, on his releases. The things that used to be Derek Carr's strengths are now regressing. Specifically, he used to be extremely accurate when it came to perimeter throws, when it came to really putting in a ball into a tight window along the sidelines, back shoulder fades. These used to be things that Derek Carr thrived in doing. And this season, it's not there. It has regressed. The mechanics are completely off.
Mm-hmm.
That could be quarterback coaching, rules of the offense. But look, at the same time, dude, Derek Carr, we've seen this for 9 years, and we've made one postseason appearance, okay? I do think it's best for the Raiders organization and for Derek Carr. And make no mistake about it, the Raiders have failed Derek Carr more than Derek Carr has failed the Raiders. Let that be out there.
Yep.
But in that same tone, look, Derek Carr needs a fresh start, and I think the Raiders organization needs a fresh start, and that doesn't have to be immediately after the season. Maybe next year is the last year we see Derek Carr in the silver and black, but you have to have that next future guy behind him. We have to have an identity of where this football team's going, the direction that it's going to go, and if you're going to give him one more year, look, I don't think I want to necessarily throw a rookie into this Josh McDaniels scheme because we're going to take 2 steps back. Unless they just have a plan for a young kid and they really do go in here and simplify it, then I think that time with Derek Carr is coming to an end.
I couldn't agree more, man. And hey, we got 50 plus in the building. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to both our channels, Raider Ray and myself. We do a weekly show, so you want to subscribe. We switch off. So the next time I go live, it's going to be on Raider Ray's channel. So you want to make sure you subscribe to his channel. It's simple as, I can put it up right now. Raider Ray. Let's see. Hold up. Let me put it up right here. Raider Ray right here. Simple. Raider Ray. Go ahead and in my mods in the chat, if you can post the links, we very much appreciate it. But back to Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr, he's been here for 9 years. 9 years, and this was, in my opinion, it was the no excuse year. No excuse year. But I do understand that he has everything that can go against a QB has went against him. The different regimes, the different GMs, the you know what I mean, the coaches, different systems that he's been in. And now at this point, it's like, man, like this is the worst that we've ever seen him. And that maybe you could probably make a case that maybe Josh McDaniels might be a part of that too.
And I honestly get the feeling that the National Football League defenses around the league, they don't fear Derek Carr like they once did. Mm-hmm. The guy who was confident, that Mamba mentality late in the fourth quarter, that when you're down one score and if you gave the ball back to the Raiders offense, hey, DC's going to go down there and do his thing. And I feel like the National Football League does not fear Derek Carr like it used to. I think they understand that if they can get the pressure on him, hit him, he starts to fold a little bit. And I hate to say that because, look, to be honest, I really do like Derek Carr. And look, we can look into all the statistics, the completion percentages, all those things might look good for Derek Carr. But it's when you turn on the film. Like I like numbers and I like fancy stats and I like all of that. But when you get down and break down the film, when you're late into the fourth quarter and you're checking down the football, when you're down a score and there's a minute left in the football game, that does not win you championships. Derek Carr had Mac Hollins open on a deep ball, a safety blues assignment, and had Mac Hollins wide open down the sideline. Derek Carr rushed the pass, throws the check down, and didn't even go through his progressions to find Mac Hollins deep down the field. It could have been a huge chunk play and gave the Raiders an opportunity to go down and score. It's small things like that. And we can say whatever we want, right? We can say anything we want about Derek Carr, but I just think right now it's just time to at least get a fresh body in there, to develop behind him and at least have an idea of where we're going to go with this football team.
Well, and I think Gray will agree with me here too. I mean, there's still 9 games left.
Yeah, a
lot can happen in 9 games, along with Josh McDaniels. But that's, to me, the biggest thing. We know Derek Carr is a good QB, and I understand that it's not fair. But I think that, like, if for whatever reason, if Josh McDaniels goes or if Josh McDaniels stays, do you think he's going to stick with Derek Carr and they don't make the playoffs? I don't know. I don't, you know what I mean? I think they're going to use him as a scapegoat. And then if a new head coach comes in, are they going to stick with Derek Carr? They're probably going to want their own QB. And guess what? If the way we're playing, it looks like we might have a top 5 pick. You know, that's worst case scenario. I hope not. You know what I mean? It's still 9 games. I don't want to. But at the end of the day, that's how we're playing right now. We're not playing good football. We're losing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Come on, man. Like,
you're getting blown out by that's what I'm saying. We've seen this year in and year out. Like, I get and understand. Look, I've seen Derek Carr with, what has it been, like 9 offensive coordinators, whatever the case may be, whatever that radical number is. Like, I've seen Derek Carr year one in systems, year in and year out, and we could always come to the defense of DC. And I have come to the defense of DC for a long time. And hear me out right now, Raider Nation. It is not all on DC. He's year one in a system with a head coach that is not putting his skill position players in the right spot. He hasn't simplified the offensive scheme. It is not all Derek Carr's fault. Okay. However, at what point do we keep putting a square peg into a round hole over and over and over? You know what I mean? I just feel like that we've just extended all options with the whole Derek Carr route. And trust me, it hurts me to say that stuff, but look, this organization needs a fresh start. It needs new life in the franchise. It needs something to be reinvigorated about. So I just think it's time to get somebody in there and develop.
And that being said, too, you know, and I understand where Ray's coming from too, and I understand 100% because it's been 9 years, and like at the end of the day, like,
you gave him a decade.
It's. But I will say this: I want it to work. I'm rooting for Derek Carr. I want it to work because he's just as fans. We've been through everything. Derek Carr has been there too.
He has been loyal to this organization. Like
exactly.
I said, man,
I want it to work, but at the same time, I also got to use common sense. Like, okay, like, do you think Josh McDaniels is going to actually, because they did leave a little bit of wiggle room in his contract to get rid of him after this season. You know what I mean? They can cut him. technically.
But
And
the
if
thing
Derek
about
Carr
that,
stays true to his word, you know, he's going to retire a Raider. So no matter what. But
to be honest with you,
JT got something for you right now. He says, "Salute to JT, man. Appreciate you coming through." You say that, Ray, when there's a difference in philosophy between players and management, top to bottom. Right now, it's only between offense and the OC only. Defense doesn't have these same issues with the DC.
I'm trying to break it down.
I think this is from earlier. Probably trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what we were talking about. Okay, you say that, Ray, when there's a difference in philosophy between players and management, top to bottom. Right now, it's only between offense and the OC only.
Mm-hmm.
Defense doesn't have the same issues with the defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new philosophy on offense, but look, the fact of the matter is we're not where we need to be, and we haven't been where we need to be. So, I mean, I get it. I'm a guy who supports DC. I would not mind seeing DC in a second year in the scheme and system when he has the terminology, he has the progressions, and the wide receivers have, you know, their history into this. It's just, look, is Josh McDaniels the guy that we think he is? That's the biggest question. Is he just an offensive coordinator who's not fit to be a head coach? That's my problem right now. Because like we were alluding to, it's not just DC. It's not just the defense at times, okay? This is a organizational issue. This is a leadership issue. And Josh McDaniels, the product that's been put on the field, the changes have not been made to put a significant and winning product out there on the field. So, dude, I'm just struggling right now to understand, hey, did we as Raider fans hype up Josh McDaniels and just came in here and said, yeah, he's learned from his mistakes? Before he even went out there and played any football games, we were quick to just be like, yeah, I believe Josh McDaniels learned from his mistakes. I think he's more mature. I think he could lead a locker room. But we didn't see the fruit of any of that. And now that we're 8 games into the season, yeah, I think the question can be raised like, hey, is Josh McDaniels the leader that we think he is?
Sean Johnson's wait. If we keep Carr, then we can't get out. I thought, well, if we keep him on the roster, I believe that the Raiders, if they were to cut him at any point in his contract, it wouldn't be a big cap hit. There wouldn't be a lot of dead money on the cap. I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh,
that's what I.
It was a 3-year deal, but he essentially signed a 1-year contract, and so he can go into the offseason with no guaranteed money on his deal, and he could sign a similar contract to what he just signed. So he could essentially do another 1-year deal similar to what he did this year, and that would be the route that I see the Raiders actually going. And then maybe say they don't finish well, and Josh McDaniels wants to keep Derek Carr around another year. You could do a situation like that and then go out there and maybe draft a developmental quarterback at some point in the draft, whether it's in the first round or through the end of it. So Derek Carr very well could be in the silver and black for another season. You know what I mean? Josh McDaniels might want to go through this with him. So I don't know, man. It's to be seen.
JT, I understand. I understand. Carr, I get it, but you can't. He says you can't say no excuse year in year 1 of a new coaching staff. Y'all got to stop with that take when the offense is incomplete. Come on, bro. Come on, man. There are other teams. There are other teams with first-year head coaches in first year in the offense, new receivers, new quarterbacks, or new first time the quarterback's playing in that system, first time the receivers playing in that system, and they're balling out, and they're only going to get better. All I'm saying, I haven't seen a natural progression, and there's 9 games left. There is 9 games left, but I haven't seen a natural progression of improvement in 8 games. DC's still struggling out there. The offense is still can't figure it out. You know what I mean? And DC's struggling. This is like his worst year. I think. Would you say this is probably his worst year, or one of his worst years as a pro?
Like I said, man, it's the little things in his game that
just watching the game, the eye test.
Yeah.
I know people are going to bring up numbers and be like, "Whoa, he didn't throw many." No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, just watching the game where he's just missing throws where you like that Amir Abdullah throw. Like I'm like, come on, bro. Like
those are passes he would make left and right a few years ago. You know what I mean? It's just accuracy, it's timing, it's placement of the football this season. And look, a lot of that has to do with Josh McDaniels. This scheme is too complex. These guys are thinking too much. Derek Carr is getting guys aligned. He's telling Devontae Adams, Mac Hollins, he had to kick Mac Hollins out wide. Mac Hollins lined up in the slot. He had to tell Mac Hollins, hey, get out. I don't know, bro. I just think that this offensive scheme is too complex for the skill position players right now, and Derek Carr is out there overthinking.
Element Pro says, what are y'all going to do when they don't cut him? That's my question. Are y'all going to talk about something else or keep going regardless?
Here's the thing. We don't talk about moving on from Derek Carr. This is the first time I talk about moving on from Derek Carr. I've been a Derek Carr guy. I've been the one to come into the defense of Derek Carr for a long time. But the fact of the matter is that this is the first time that I have, as a Derek Carr fan, this is the first time that I felt like, hey, look, if there is an out with Derek Carr, if this organization is going to go in a new direction, the writing kind of feels on the wall that this might be the time that might happen.
I think you guys are having a chat. Okay, y'all having conversation, man. If the chat is moving fast, I appreciate everybody coming through. It's 80 in the building. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to both our channels. Me and Red Array, we do a weekly show. The next time I go live is going to be on his channel, so you want to make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. And that algorithm is very real. So for us to keep coming back and keep doing what we're doing, you got to make sure you like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So we appreciate the support, man. We're trying to keep this thing rolling and improving every way we can. But let me get back into the chat real quick. You watch too much. Okay, nah, I'm not gonna. Y'all say y'all going. Okay,
hey, no. To be real, we don't even watch other content creators like that. I watch film, bro. That's what I do. And what I'm telling you about DC is I'm not seeing that natural progression in an offense. The timing is off. His ability to diagnose plays when they're breaking down, it's off. The chemistry with the wide receivers, there is no creativity. They have no freedom when it comes to route running. This is a very, very detailed offense.
And to be fair, this is why I said it's not going to be fair for DC. And I'm not saying I like DC, but the thing is that it's not going to be fair because you could probably make a case, like I said, that some of the issues is because of Josh McDaniels. Because it's just not Derek Carr that's regressed. There are other players on this team that have regressed. Yeah. You know what I mean? If your name ain't Max Crosby, you damn near regress. You know what I mean? Devontae Adams, he's on pace to get 1,000 yards, but at times it almost seems like, you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to get him the ball. You know what I mean? But he's dropped some balls too. Last few games, you know, Devontae Adams, that's part of the execution that everybody's been talking about. And I think he's
what
part
I'm
of
talking about. That's, you know, this is what I mean by a newfound energy on the offensive side of the football. Somebody that, you know, the locker room respects Derek Carr, and a lot of guys that have been there for a minute, they're used to DC, but I need somebody that is going to rally this team. We talked about when you're down in these 17-point deficits and these teams start creeping back in. Where are our captains on the sidelines getting our football team back inside the game? That's something that I used to see Derek Carr do constantly all the time. And I do not see our captains, not just DC. This isn't just a rant on Derek Carr specifically. It's our entire captains. It is getting this team together and rally. Where are they emerging at? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying by they've taken the identity of Josh McDaniels, and he is a soft person and a soft head coach, in my opinion. And I don't know how much accountability. With all the criticism of him being a bad leader, did he just come into this locker room and create a soft culture? Maybe he's not coming down on the locker room as hard. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes, but what I'm saying is what I'm seeing with the product on the field. This is a team that lacks fight. It lacks effort, and that's what has me more concerned because I don't know long term if that's something that you salvage.
Right. And Big Time Willie says, let's rebuild after we made the playoffs last year. Make it make sense. Hey, I'm with you, bro.
You're on.
This is why this season is so frustrating. It's because talent wise, we have the talent to be winning way more, to at least beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, to not lose against the Saints 24-0. You know what I mean? Arizona, we're up 20-0 and we lose that game. Come on,
and now you have all this talent, and you're sitting here looking at yourself at 2-6, and you've got to raise the question, where do we go from here? Do we go and rattle off 5 of the last 9 games, and say we win 5 of the last 9, and we're sitting at 7-10? Okay, and now we're in the middle of the first round. Like, what is the vision here? Like, what are we actually planning on doing? So it's so weird, man. This whole season has been a dumpster fire, and now you have real decisions to make of like, and in my opinion, come January and February, there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking on this roster. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, I've been patient this whole season. I've been patient with this coaching staff. I've been patient with this offense that, the only thing, I mean, they can run the football, but for some reason, that passing offense, there's no rhythm. It's just not there yet. And every game we've kind of seen, we'll see bits and pieces of it, but it's just taking way too long. 8 games into the season, and we're still talking about how the offense is not there yet. And, and McDaniels, you can't ignore the first few games. Like, he didn't want to run the ball. First couple games, for some reason, he didn't want to run the ball against San Diego Chargers, against the Arizona Cardinals. He didn't want to use Josh Jacobs in that second half. And there's been moments where he's but the biggest thing for me with Josh McDaniels is the fact that, like, when you compare, and I know every year is different. Every year there's different teams, but you can hey, at the end of the day, like, we're going to compare it. I mean, last year, 2021, the John Gruden-led teams, what we knew about them, obviously we can criticize John Gruden all we want, and I was part of that. But at the end of the day, like, John Gruden led a very tough team. Right. Very tough team. They've been through a lot, and they persevered, and it didn't matter if they got blown out, they would come back and they would respond. Literally, to be honest with you, if you remember the start of the Jaguars game, that was not a good start. You remember that?
No, yeah, and I told you that when we were messaging during the game. I was like, bro, when I first seen that first 3 now, because we talked about it on the preview show of watch them come out and they have to give different looks because defenses have been loading the boxes. So I had told you, remember, look for them to start this drive, probably pass heavy. You know what I mean? Because they have to give defenses different looks than what they were given in the Saints game. And they came out and they threw the ball 3 times in a row and did a 3 and out. And I was like, I hope this isn't a sign of things to come for this game. But they really did. They addressed that after that drive. They really went out there and moved the ball efficiently and effectively. And they actually schemed Davante Adams the football. And it started to look like, you know what, this offense has some hope throwing the football. Pass protection was doing really good. Jermaine Illuminor was having a good game. Colton Miller was looking a lot better than what he did against the Saints. Overall, pass protection up front was just a lot better than what it was. Right. We still struggled to run the football.
Right.
But as far as passing the ball, it kind of felt good. And then that Amir Abdullah situation happened before the half. They go up and they put points on the board. And then the second half, just not being able to develop, not being able to click. Drop passes from Davante Adams. It just execution has been the biggest problem with this team the entire season. It's just lack of execution.
Ruler says, did Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, Mahomes, etc. change OC every 2 to 3 years? Hey, I'm with you. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's fair. It's not fair at all, man. That's why I kind of said. Yeah, I mean, that's why I said earlier. I said that DC. This year, like, man, like, I really wanted him to take this team to the playoffs. I really want him to win a playoff game. I really want him to take this team to the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the Raiders team, but I was rooting for him as well. But the way things are looking with Josh McDaniels just coming here, and my main thing is with Josh McDaniels, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's more Josh McDaniels for me than it is DC. But at what point, like,
because think about it, if let's say if Josh McDaniels gets fired, let's throw a little imaginary scenario, y'all, that could possibly happen. We lose against the Colts, we lose the majority of our games, or however you want to look at it, and Josh McDaniels gets fired. You think DC comes back? I'm not sure. I don't know why I can't say that with 100% confidence.
No. Well, I mean, if you move on from the head coach, like I said, that's why this offseason is building up. That if you're Mark Davis, if you're the Raiders regime, and you're truly thinking about going in a new direction for the franchise, say this completely collapses, wasn't anything what you thought it was, Derek Carr's not clicking with the offense, say there's a relationship conflict there, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
This is the opportunity to finally go out there and get a guy. Josh McDaniels, if he wants to stick around and say, hey, he could pitch it to Mark and be like, hey, look, let me go get my guy at the quarterback position. Let's revitalize this franchise. And not saying that that's the solution. Not saying that Josh McDaniels isn't necessarily right for doing that.
Right.
But that's his ability to stay in a head coach position. And make no mistake about it, I really do believe Mark Davis when he says that Josh McDaniels is going to be the head coach. He's shown historically he gives head coaches time. So we are going to be stuck with Josh McDaniels, but does that necessarily mean that we're going to have Derek Carr?
Right.
I've been saying that I do think Josh McDaniels and DC are kind of tied together. DC has a really good job of getting underneath the wing of his head coaches, doing things the way that they like it, and coaches respect that around the National Football League. You know what I mean? So DC has an in with Josh McDaniels. Of course, I could see him come back year 2 and his second year in the offense and hopefully show signs of progression, and maybe he improves on his accuracy and his timing and all these little nuances that are obvious issues. And I mean, if you don't watch film, then I would see why you would just come to the defense of DC all the time. But look, DC has a hand in it. Josh McDaniels has a bigger hand in it. Defense has a play in it.
And not to cut you off, I got to make a quick public service announcement. We got 100 in the building. If you haven't liked the video, make sure to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to subscribe to Raider Ray as well. We do a weekly show. We switch off every week. The next time I go live is going to be on his channel. So you want to make sure you subscribe to both our channels. If you like what you see, like what you hear, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that algorithm, like I said, is very real. So we can keep coming back and giving you good content and keep improving, because we love doing this. So, and we appreciate the support. And I want to get to this comment right here because I want to keep it fair, because I see everybody on both sides, and I hear both sides. And Severe Raider says, we keep talking about leadership. Carr is supposed to be the leader of this squad, face of this franchise. This dude must got some Mark Davis emails for as many passes as he's be. Yeah, you clowning right now. You clowning. But you know what? Yeah, like at the end of the day, like it's not all coaching. The players got to take responsibility too. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, Devontae Adams like dropping balls. At the end of the day, like he was dropping some passes. Derek Carr, you know what I mean? Like some of the decisions at the end of the day, he's making the throws, and some of the throws on the sidelines, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that was the right read there. You know what I mean? Like there's 2 players over there. I know you want to throw to your boy Devontae Adams, and we brought him here for a reason, but on third down, money down, you can't give it to maybe Hunter Renfrow, or you can't give it to, you know what I mean? I just feel like it's just off. It's just not clicking, and time is ticking for DC more than it is McDaniels. But to be honest with you, if this team continues to slide, I don't know how there's no way Mark Davis can bring this guy back. It's because it's not even about how many games they win or lose. It's just the way it's happening. And the fact, that's the one thing that got to me, is the fact that this team is mentally soft. And I'm like, where are they getting that from? Coaching. That's coming from Josh McDaniels.
Yep. They've taken on the identity of their coach, bro.
That's my main thing, man. It's coaching. It's coaching, and the players too. But then that part of it is like, even if we get new players, they're gonna be a soft team too. Even if we get whoever quarterback in the draft, or whatever defense that we upgrade.
That's the biggest problem with this whole head coach conversation, right? Because like I made in that post, and I don't ever come out and say those type of things, right? But it's like, if these red flags, it's one thing if this team went out there and just fought 4 quarters and just played tough, hard-nosed football and lost close games. I can live with that. I can live with players making mistakes and naturally progressing through an offense. But when you see in fourth quarter, and Mac Hollins commits a penalty, and he's smiling, right? He's laughing about it late in the fourth quarter. There is an identity issue in this locker room. There's an identity when it comes to leadership and discipline and execution, and that starts with the head coach. And I don't know if that's recoverable. To allude back onto the DC situation on why he's gotten so many passes, you can make the argument for a long time Derek Carr has been the best player in the Raiders franchise for the last 9 years, outside of your Khalil Max and outside of, you can maybe make an argument of the talent of the type of Amari Cooper. This organization went through such a turnstile at the quarterback position that when they found Derek Carr and they found a good thing, you're not just going to move on from DC. He was a foundational piece for a long time, And it's hard to find an upgrade over DC. He's in that, typically he's in that 12 to 15 type of range, wherever you want to kind of give it. And if you're going to upgrade, you really have to upgrade to one of those upper echelon type of quarterbacks. And if you go to bring in a rookie, the rookies aren't typically going to be as good as DC. So you got that whole narrative and whole situation, which is why I really do believe people stuck around with DC. It's just, dude, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know if he's going to be the guy. I don't know if I see it anymore. I don't know if I see it anymore. Is he the guy in your gut, chat, in your gut? Is DC the guy that's going to get the Lombardi trophy? Like, do you trust DC right now to go out there and help us win a Lombardi trophy? I don't know. You know what I mean? I think he has the talent. I think he has the arm talent. I think, I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. For a long time, I could say, yeah, I think he's that guy.
Because we haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean?
But at this point, can I see him go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen in a big game? And even if things are falling apart and the Raiders are down 10 points, can I see him go out there and rally this offense and go out there and put the points up? I don't know if I see that anymore. I don't know.
And my mods, if you're in the building, please make sure to post the links. Make it easy for the chat if they haven't subscribed to the channel and Ray's channel as well. So you want to make sure to put the links in there. We appreciate y'all. JT says, if you are so detailed, then you take away playmaking ability. Hint, hint. Hunter, DA, Waller, Colton, Carr. When it's this, the play. Okay, this. All right, bro. JT, my brother. This last part you're gonna have to retype. But I get where you're coming from, because I posted a video the other day. It was John Madden, and it was John Madden like kind of like. I don't want to. You guys got to check out the video, but he was pretty much saying that like, if you take creativity from the players, then they become like robots. They become robotic out there on the football field. So you got to give them a little bit of freedom. And Josh McDaniels, coming from the Patriots, at the end of the day, like, he's kind of bringing that Patriot style. I know he said, "Oh, I changed. I'm not the same guy that I was in Denver. I was trying to be someone I was not." But man, I'm not saying I understand that it's not going to go smoothly that first year as a head coach. I know I've made videos about this, about how first year head coaches actually don't have a lot of success as much as you want to think. But that being said, like, I'm also watching the game and I'm seeing what's happening and how we're losing and the way it's happening and the way our best players on the team are struggling. Like what happened to Third and Renfro?
He's not there because the creativity is not there. The freedom in his routes aren't there. He has to be in a specific area at a specific time in this offense. This offense is all based off of timing, placement. You have to be in an exact spot at an exact time. And that's something that the Raiders, what they did was they adjusted to the talent of their roster, which is something that I don't think Josh McDaniels does. And that's what I was really encouraged about this offseason, because we heard all this hype about how Josh McDaniels really built his offense to the strength of all of his players, and that hasn't been the case. It's been, do my players fit into my scheme and my system? So I don't know, man. I'm not sold on the offense. Like, if he is this offensive guru, what I've seen over the first 8 weeks of the season, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really, take the offensive scheme aside and Derek Carr's issues and the offense as a whole issue. The leadership ability, the accountability, the to put out a confident football team on the field every Sunday. That's what I'm not impressed with.
Yeah. SVT Vasquez says, would y'all be surprised if we lose against the Colts? And I mean, the way the Colts, they're hiring guys off of TV, like Jeff Saturday. Wasn't he like, he was a contributor to ESPN, and he literally got hired as a head coach. He hired a 30-year-old passing game specialist to call plays. You know what I mean? And just a couple of weeks ago, we seen Jeff Saturday tweet out saying that Devontae Adams was on my fantasy team and he had 0 points. So, and someone made a sarcastic comment saying that, "Oh, we're going to be seeing a lot of single coverage on Sunday." You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to say that the Colts are a bad team right now. If we lose against the Colts, Mark Davis got to fire. He got to fire.
If we lose to the Colts,
he got to fire McDaniels. He has to.
What's the plan, Raider Nation? Like, if if we go out there and we lose to a coach that is literally had his press conference today or yesterday and hadn't even met the team yet. Jeff came out and said, hey, look, I haven't even met the team yet. So you're really going to get an offensive coordinator's game plan and Gus Bradley, the cover 3, a guy who we're extremely familiar with, who actually has a really good secondary playing right now, by the way. If you go out here and you lose to the Indianapolis Colts at home, then what is the excuses going to be? Are we going to continually give a defense for Josh McDaniels in this offense? Are we going to continue? I'm not about it. I'm not ever just going to blow smoke just because we've done this as a fan base for years now. We've given these guys excuses. We've given head coaches excuses. When now the modern NFL is you can go out there and you get a head coach, and I know it's not common. Hear me out. I know it's not common, but it is possible. You can go out here and you can go get a head coach and you could plug them in and they build a scheme around the strength of your roster and you find success. I don't see that. I don't see that this year with Josh McDaniels.
DeMarcus Webb says, Hunter said in a recent interview he feels he needs to be creative again in his routes, in the system. Players are going to have to add some of their own twists to make this work or they'll be gone. And, that's a little bit on the coaching too. Because if you're telling the players to do a certain way and you're not allowing them to be freedom, that goes back to what I just said earlier about that video that I dropped the other day with John Madden saying that you have to allow players to be creative. These players are too talented. You got to give them a little bit of freedom, because if you are constantly telling them to do something a certain way and it has to be that way, then, like the great John Madden said, they're going to be like robots out there. And I don't want to dwell too much on the last game, but obviously me and Ray like we watched the game. We're fans of the team too, so we're kind of like, man, like another season like this. But let me get to some recent news today. Abrams was released today.
Yep.
And he was a guy, man, like a first round pick in 2019. A lot of people said that, the Raiders reached at the time. She should have went a little bit later in the draft. And, John Gruden, Mike Mayock, the rest is history. We draft him. But, ever since he's been with us, he's either been hurt. He's been, a liability in pass coverage. And now in this regime, he played a lot of snaps early on. First 6 games, I think he was a starter. But the last couple of games, his snaps have been getting cut. And from what I heard, that they try to trade him during the offseason, and also they try to trade him during the trade deadline, and no takers.
Hey, yo, I got some information.
Okay, we got some breaking news. What's going on, man? Right?
Shout out to Auntie 6. Okay, so Vegas Insider update here. The Raiders are working as quick as they can to internally trying to beat TMZ. There are multiple skill position players involved. This looks ugly. Hearing from TMZ trusted source that in Vegas, TMZ is going to be reporting on a major story involving numerous current Raider players.
Damn.
Not good, bro. Can't respond, blah, blah, blah. There are rumors that Josh Jacob assaulted a waitress. I don't think that one's true. And then also rumors that Max Crosby's personal pictures are about to get leaked. And those might have some credibility to them. So, honestly, y'all, look, this is the situation. This season is done. The season's done. There is no playoff hope this year. Let's just stop with all that. This is not a playoff team. They have not earned that. I'm not going to come on here and say that this organization is a playoff team on the offense, defensive side of the ball. No, we're not even there, y'all. Like this season.
Come on, bro. Like, come on. And this goes back. Look, oh my God, season's over. But the reason why I say that is because, oh my God, this goes back to what I said earlier. This team is not mentally tough.
No,
so for something like this to happen, it's gonna derail the season. It's not like last year. Last year we're a tough football team. We were a tough football team, not physically.
We took the identity of who? Rich Bisaccia, John Gruden. That entire culture, they bought into that. They weren't soft people. They were motivators of men, and that's what we don't have. But Raider Nation has to realize that this season is not what it was planned out to be. It wasn't Dude, we hyped up this offseason so much that it is imploded, and now it's like we don't even know how to handle it. The fact of the matter is the Raiders are 2-6. That's the reality. The reality is they are not a playoff team. I love this team. I love the silver and black. They are not a playoff team. This offense is not a killer like we thought it was going to be. This defense is not creating enough turnovers, not getting enough stops. And look, the defense has given enough opportunities to the offense to go out there and win football games. But as a whole, I do not trust this defense. I don't trust this offense. I don't trust the leadership. This season, look, y'all, this season's a wrap, and we have a lot of questions to address in the offseason. But we're going to take it week by week, and we're just going to see how the chips fall.
You know what this is going to do? This is what this is going to do? This is going to be the excuse for Josh McDaniels.
I hope not, bro. I don't want to give any. That's what I'm saying. As a fan base, I'm tired of giving these guys excuses. Just because something happens internally with the Raiders making horrible decisions in their personal life, I'm tired of these excuses, bro. I am so tired of it. Like, a rebuild is coming. Like, that's gonna happen, bro.
I don't think it's gonna be rebuild. I think Mark Davis is he's not gonna let that happen.
But what are you gonna do?
He wants to win.
Carr, if you move on from Carr, you're essentially hitting that reset button.
So what they can do? Do you consider okay? And this is a question for the chat too as well. Like, if y'all have some thoughts on this, let me know. And Ray too. If we, let's say, for example, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but let's say if we get rid of Carr, that's what, 40 million off the cap, right? And then on top of that, if we're a bad team this year, we've finished with a bad record, that's going to be a top 10 pick. So you infuse this team with more talent, a bigger cap space in the offseason.
Who's your leader?
A young QB with talent a lot around him.
I hear you. And all that can work, right? You get a young quarterback in here. You build a really good defense with the off season. So you use that first round pick. You go out and get one of these premier young talents. Maybe you go get a bridge style type of quarterback. Maybe even have Derek Carr back on a 1-year type of deal. You go and build up a defense. But look, dude, the leadership, the big circle on this whole thing is Josh McDaniels. You could go get the young guy, but you alluded to it earlier. He's going to take on the identity of his head coach. Unless you just get this bold, brash, confident kid that just comes in here and is like, hey, yo, and gives him pushback, almost like a Brady did in the past, or one of those type of guys. But that's very few farm,
bro. Man, Josh McDaniels, I'm telling you right now, man, I know I dropped the video about him getting a second year, but after last game, and I just look back at the entirety of the season so far, 8 games. This team is a reflection of him. And if Mark Davis doesn't see that, we're just going to have another year next year where it's just going to be average results, underperforming.
Hey, look, I think this TMZ thing is going to get ugly, bro.
Exactly, bro. And oh my God. And okay, hear me out. The type of coach that needs to be in Vegas, he got to be tough. AKA Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh
would have been nice.
Would have been a nice fit.
You know what I mean? Obviously John Gruden. He had his. I'm not here to talk about John Gruden being a great coach. What I'm saying is that, like,
he's a great leader. Outside of the issue, okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hear y'all, man. What a joke, man.
Honestly, the Abrams news isn't.
I haven't seen nothing, y'all. I haven't seen. You said you got a message from
Auntie Six. Send me a message. Okay. Yeah, send me a message.
Okay.
I mean, Auntie, is it cool? I mean, I don't. Okay. Really, the one source came from a Las Vegas insider. Vegas insider inside the Vegas beat. So this is this is coming from a.
I hope not, man. I don't want this. I don't want nothing like that to happen to this Raiders team.
Hey, where there's smoke, there's fire, bro. How many times have we seen this with the John Gruden situation, the Damon Arnett situation, the Henry Ruggs situation? Any type of legal issue, and you start hearing about, hey, this isn't looking good from what I'm hearing. It ain't looking good, bro. This is gonna sabotage this year. I really, because you know what? Unlike last year when adversity and chaos struck our team, we had the backbone, we had the leadership. from the top of the organization down to the bottom to get players. We had it, man. We had the confidence. We knew in the close games we can go out there and finish them. That's not there this year. So a situation like this, say you go out and get multiple players suspended for a couple games or whatever the case may be. This sounds like it might be a little bit of a personal legal issues. Bro, this could be big. This could be really big.
Hey, JT, hit me up on IG. Hit me up on IG.
There was a team argument Atterbury carried over today. Not sure how much they will be said. But Pharoah, call me and I'll let you know.
Hit me up on IG, brother. Let's see. William Providence. I'm from Denver. I saw this same shit show in 2009 and 2010.
How much has changed? That's what I'm talking about. How much has really changed? Us as Raider fans, man, we were bold. We were like, hey, Josh McDaniels has changed. He's learned from his ways, and that's us being arrogant, not seeing anything that he's putting on the field yet. And just all this offseason hype that we get bought into. We get sold a product. Let's make no mistake about it. Every single year, the National Football League is a brilliant machine. And they just produce and produce and produce. And we as consumers were so desperate for a winning organization. And you go out and get a Josh McDaniels, this highly sought after coach from a winning organization. You go and make a move for Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones, and everything starts to seem good coming off of a 10-7 year.
Mm-hmm.
We bought into that hype machine. And this is what happens when you don't allow people to go out there and prove it on the field.
Yeah. William, and I appreciate you coming through, William. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. I know you're a Denver fan, but go ahead and subscribe. You know what I mean? If you want us to keep coming back, talking that shit, keep it real. Keep it real 100. Averett more worried about their hair color than
Avery's in the past, bro. We gotta.
That's funny. But look, hey, that being said, I hope what I hope. There's 9 games left, and I hope not. The Raiders can go on a run, even if they miss the playoffs. And I understand it sounds crazy. I want to see a progression in this team, man. I'm not trying to watch this team get worse. I'm not trying to see a team this talented. We got marquee players on offense. We got players. You could argue that our defense is not as talented, but at the end of the day, like, I want this team to get better. Like on Sundays, like this is a winnable game against the Colts. After that, I believe do we play the Chargers after that?
Hey, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that I see it.
I know.
I don't see a run.
I know. But what I'm saying, if this happens, then everything that we were saying right now goes out the window. But that being said, 8 games.
Can we be real, though? It kind of felt like this year was playoffs or bust. From the fan base. I'm not saying that was our realistic expectations over here, but I'm saying the type of offseason you had, the 10-7, and look, a lot of that was the Raiders honestly overachieved last season. There was a lot of games that they probably shouldn't have won, but they squeaked out close games, right? They had a lot of those field goal winning games, so those games could have swung either way. And even if a couple of them went another way, you're talking about either a 6-11 team, and a 7-10 type of team.
Yeah.
And maybe they're very similar to what they are right now. I don't know, but I do truly believe, though, this team has regressed.
Mm-hmm.
That's evident.
And Raider Hockey Uncle says all this nonsense happening with this Raiders team is the lack of leadership in the organization. It goes to show that these coaches can't lead these men, and these men lost the trust of their coaches. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, and you can't bring that back. You can't bring you already seen it. Vegas is a city of temptation, and you need to have a coach that will that like, at least, how do I say this? Like, their players respect. At the end of the day, they have to respect the head coach. They respect. Hey, there are probably players that didn't like John Gruden, but they respected him.
And I think that they respect Josh in a different way. You know what I mean? Josh has these rings and everything, but it's like John could captivate a locker room. John could sell you this pin. You know what I mean? He could motivate you to write a novel with this pin. He could fire you up. That's not the case with Josh McDaniels, bro. He's a leader in a different aspect. He's kind of silent, but when those things fall and those things fail, those offensive game plans start to break down. Guys aren't picking up the offensive scheme. You're losing games that you should be winning. Before too long, bro, that locker room will start to question, like, hey, bro, I don't know if what you're telling us to do. It's one thing if they start seeing it actually succeed. And they're like, hey, everything that you're saying is coming to pass. Hey, that ain't happening right now. Mayock is low-key a reporter for team.
He probably snitching.
Probably.
He
Mayock and Gruden are rallying up their comeback.
And I appreciate everybody commenting, man. I know I'm behind. I'm trying to get to everybody's comments. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like the video. My mods, if you're in here, please make sure to post the links. Man, I very much appreciate it. And subscribe to Ray to Ray as well, man. Like I said, we do a weekly show on his channel. Next time I go live, it's going to be on his channel. So you want to make sure you subscribe to him as well. Ray to Ray, simple. Go ahead and search for that and subscribe. And if the mods are in there, please post the links, please.
All right. So Josh Jacobs has come out and he says, "Why are people always playing with my name?" And then he subtweeted, said, "Hold on, what's going on?" And then he said, "I haven't even left the crib today," with a bunch of crying emoji. And then he said again, "Hold up, what's going on?" So it seems like it's news to him. Hey, man, I don't know. I hope this isn't all just
that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of going off the chat right now, and a lot of people, obviously you made that announcement earlier from getting a message. So I don't know any facts. I don't know any facts. I didn't really want to talk about it until we can get some concrete stuff. But I guess we'll find out soon enough in the next couple of days if all these rumors are true or not. I hope it's not, because something like this for it to happen, it's just going to give guys excuses. And I don't think a guy like McDaniels needs another excuse.
Yeah, my floor for this season was 10-7 in my season prediction, and I'm not even really a big fan of being a season prediction. And my ceiling was like, hey, if everything was clicking, 12-5. That's where my height was, and then my floor was 10. I figured we would be in a double-digit range. That's where I'd imagined us. But honestly, we're not a double-digit win team by any. There's no way we go and win 8 of the last 9.
Hey,
no way.
And JT, I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm not saying that it has to be a dictator.
No.
I'm not saying that. You can still be a coach that players respect and be a player's coach.
You don't have to be a Gruden personality to be a leader of a locker room. That's not what we're saying by any means. But JT, I would make the argument. I would be like, hey, look, do you really feel like the sense that this locker room is a fired up, confident, bought into the leadership of this organization? I think you would agree as well. No, I don't think they have. And I will say this. I think they bought into the leadership at first, but it has transpired and showed its face on the field. They've bought into a soft, passive coach. And that's where we're at.
Okay, D-Minutes, if we lose to the coach with coach with 0 NFL experience, yeah, I'm with you. We lose against. Hey, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of like, I'm looking at McDaniels right now, kind of crazy, like. And I understand first-year head coaches, they need time or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm not even talking about the system. I'm just looking at the team and looking at where they're lacking, because I'm like, well, how are they losing games? Why are they losing games? How are the team? How is this team losing games? And just looking at the team doesn't look. It just feels like look at a guy like Derek Carr who literally, he has stats to prove that he plays big in the fourth quarter. He's had game-winning drives. He hasn't had one this year. He gets even worse.
That's
in
what
the fourth quarter.
I'm saying. The things where he used to have as a strength has now not. That's how you know that he's regressed. But it's also how you know that this scheme isn't the fit for him. The things that he was talented at, the things that he thrived in, those are essentials that you don't get rid of. If I'm a coach coming into an organization and I'm not going to take the strength away from my quarterback, the most important position on a football team.
Yeah.
And the fact that you see in those fourth quarter games that Derek Carr don't have the confidence, he's not getting those game-winning drives. All this has to be pointed to the leadership of this football team.
Okay, ONT6 Soldier. So he's ONT6 is the one that sent you that message. That supposedly the rumors are fake. Everyone supposedly rumors are fake. Thank God.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so. I hope so. I don't want to hear.
That's why I don't like to jump on this
field
stuff.
anything.
That's why I don't like to jump on this stuff. When I heard like all this stuff, Pharoah can be my witness. Before the show started, I said, hey, if people start bringing it up, I really don't want to get into it. Pharoah is my witness. But, I mean, this is what it is. And then everybody's sending this stuff. So I don't know, bro. I don't know what's true, and I don't know what's false.
Mark Davis is the greatest salesman of all time. And we're dumb as fan base and keep on the bullshit. Oh, damn. That hurt, bro.
We are desperate consumers for success. I really do believe that.
Keep it real 100. Man, that's funny. Because Mark Davis did say in the intro press conference with Josh McDaniels, he's like, this is not a reload. This is not a rebuild. You know what I mean? It's when you come with
what is it going to be at this point?
So if Josh McDaniels didn't deliver, and I'm sure based off Mark Davis's like previous experiences with other coaches, he's giving them time. He's giving them time.
I know, but they came out and said it's not a rebuild. But if you go and fail, I feel like we're going to fail this season, and I don't say that to be negative. I'm just saying what I see as a team. If you go out here and completely underperform of what the expectation was, then what's the move from there?
JT, not to cut you off. JT, my IG link is the same as my channel name, Pharoah NFL. Pharoah NFL. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. Cut you off.
No, yeah, if we underperform and they came out, this isn't a rebuild, this is a retooling, and we're just going to continue to get better. If this season is a complete flop and the Raiders end up with the top 5 pick, if it's not a rebuild, I mean, why are we can't be afraid of that word, because essentially that's the corner that we've backed ourselves up in. You're a top 5 pick now. Mm-hmm. Like, this is your one chance. Like, are we going to go grab another guy that is going to be the future of the franchise at the quarterback position? Are you going to go get a premier defensive player and just stock load the defense in the offseason and just hope that regress progresses in year 2? Bro, you got a lot of questions to ask yourself this offseason, especially if things go bad. You really got to reassess this team. And to be honest, if it goes as bad as what we think, it might be a slight rebuild. If you're getting a new quarterback, if you're moving on from key pieces, how else are we going to word it? We can use fancy, clean, and sweet terms, retool, restructure. But necessarily that's not the case if you're moving on from key foundational pieces. If you move on from Derek Carr and you're starting a rookie quarterback, I'm sorry, that is a kind of rebuild transition.
Yeah. But because come on, man, how many times have we heard Mark Davis say that he's talked to McDaniels after the game? So he's definitely having second thoughts. Hey,
unless they got a plan, unless this was a plan, you know what I mean? Maybe, when they sold it, I mean, that's conspiracy. I don't really want to get into it. I mean, I think we're looking for every excuse though, right? But it's like, hey, is part of this a plan? Like, how do you blow all these 17-point leads? Like, is this your opportunity to move on and go a new direction and finally be the head coach that gets a change at the quarterback position? And I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what those conversations are.
We the People says Mark Davis made it seem like it's playoff, but I think he really believed that though. I'm not faulting him for that. I think he
was sold.
Yeah, he was sold on it, and I was sold on it too. I'll be honest with you. I'll keep it real with you. I was all in on Jim Harbaugh. I was like, man, Jim Harbaugh, I seen the success he did across the bay with San Francisco. Like, the dude's a winner. I thought it was a perfect fit. You know what I mean? You just need to put great coordinators around Jim Harbaugh, because he's not the X's and O guys, but he can have a team playing hard. And when he went with McDaniels, that my first reaction was like, oh my God, Patriots coach. But then I bought into it. You know, I looked at the pedigree. I looked at the top offenses. I looked at the fact that he can develop QBs. I bought into it. But I did have that question, is he a leader of men? And I left a little bit of room saying we got to see that on Sundays. And so far, 8 games into the season, going into the 9th game of the season, we still have that question. We still have that doubt. And to be honest with you, it's kind of been answered a little bit. You know what I mean? You got players questioning what's going on. They're questioning the coaching staff. You got hopefully these rumors ain't true. But if they are, then that's a reflection of leadership, like everybody's been alluding to. You know what I mean? So DeMarcus Reb says Raider fans always think it's play.
We always hold on to hope, bro. We always hold on to hope.
Hey, these comments is fire, man. Keep them coming, man.
I know. Keep them coming, yo.
Raider fans always think it's playoff or bust, man. That's 100% facts. Sean Downey, we had grit last year, even if we weren't as talented. Yep.
Facts.
That's the most frustrating thing about it, is the fact that we were a tough football team. We weren't the most talented. We were a tough football team. So that was enough for us to get to the playoffs.
We knew that every single game that we played in, bro, like they're gonna strap up their helmet, bite down on the mouthpiece, and they're gonna compete for 4 quarters. Like I knew that about that team. This time, bro, we just soft, bro. That's just what it is. We're a soft football team. We're gonna call a spade from now on, bro. Like if I see it that way, and you've consistently showed that for weeks on weeks, like we're soft.
Hey Marquez, I'm with you. I didn't see anything. I think we got some false information. But like I said, hopefully none of that stuff is true. On top of a 2-6 season, I do not want to hear any type of drama coming from that locker room, man. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with me. But I am a fan of the team. I like the team. I want to see good things coming out of the team. I don't want to see any bad stuff. So, that's how I feel about it. But yeah, I think I'm behind in the chat. Let me try to get.
You are.
Yeah, I'm behind.
I'm gonna read JT. You're not there, but I see it on my screen, so I'm just gonna read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says rebuilding is starting over from ground zero, meaning break it down to the foundation with the coaching staff intact, like John Gruden did. That's not what they need. We're just missing pieces on defense now. And look here, I see what you're saying, and I guess necessarily if you go get a rookie quarterback, look, if you keep Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, all that intact, yes, it's not a complete rebuild. But what I'm saying is it's not what we were sold on. Okay, it's not the whole message of this is a retooling and you're just adding talent to a 10-7 football team to go out there and make a playoff run this season. If you're going out there and you're having to make changes at the quarterback position, something went wrong. And that's not what we were expecting going into this year. We figured, hey, Derek Carr's got all the pieces now. This is going to be Derek Carr's year where he's going to come in and be among that top 10 quarterback conversation. I get it. It's not going to be a complete rebuild, but there is going to be a complete identity shift in this organization. If you go get a new face of the franchise, then yeah, there's going to be a period of kind of in a rebuild. You know what I mean? You've got a new face of the franchise. DC isn't the quarterback anymore. Dude, that's a process. Call it what you want. Maybe it's not a complete rebuild. You can call it a retool. I think that sounds too sweet, in my opinion, because there's going to be a lot of growing pains in that.
All right, keep it real. Hey, man, you've been having some fire comments. I was thinking about this too. Best available head coach, Sean Payton. Let's hope Chargers make the playoffs. Look, I'm gonna throw a little scenario. If Sean Payton, he probably has Mark Davis' number. Who knows? But there's some connections probably there.
He was gonna be a Raider, bro.
Yeah, he was gonna. There was an interview where he talked about how he was getting ready to be a Raiders head coach, but people around the league were telling him to wait because the Raiders situation was kind of dysfunctional, and the rest is history. But I will say this: if Sean Payton is interested in coaching the Raiders, I'm gonna tell you right now, Mark Davis should just drive to McDaniels' house, knock on the door, and be like, "You're fired. You're fired. Just leave. Don't come back. I don't want to see you again. I'm sorry. It's not even close. Sean Payton is a way better coach. He's a proven commodity, and be honest with you, it's a perfect fit for Mark Davis. He wants that proven coach. He wants the alpha male at head coach. So for him to go from Josh McDaniels, it was kind of outside of his. It was kind of out. Usually he goes for the John Grudens. He likes the big names. And I guess with Josh McDaniels, was he a big name? Kinda, sorta. You know what I mean? It was risky. It was risky.
Let's look at it like, if you're Josh McDaniels and you want to come into a situation, do you want to inherit the quarterback that's been through 4 regimes? Do you want to? Or if you're going to come in and you really have a second run here, what did history say he did in Denver? Let's just look at history, because history has a tendency to repeat itself, right? What did he do in Denver to a quarterback that they had established there? Traded him away.
Yeah.
And went and got his guy. I just feel like this offense, this defense, like this team collectively has too much talent to be 2-6. And the way that you've lost these games, it almost feels like how are we losing? It's like you want to lose. You have 17-point leads. I mean, you have to completely take the foot off the gas. Play calling, players, execution, game plan. My biggest question, and I say all this to say this, could a part of this have been Josh McDaniels' plan this whole time? Land a top pick, and look, welcome in a rookie quarterback to the talent of a Devontae. Look at how much money they spent on the offensive side of the football. If Derek Carr was that only missing piece, and you can move on from him, and you plug in a rookie quarterback into the talent of a Hunter, a Darren, a Devontae Adams, and then throw a ton of assets, a bunch of defensive picks, a bunch of cap space to the defensive side of the football, and have a rookie quarterback on a cheap rookie deal, is that the direction? Is that the more attractive direction for a head coach that wants to be here for years to come? You go and get your guy and mold him into your system. I don't know, man. You have a dog right now in Derek Carr who's been taught tricks by 4 different regimes, 9 different philosophies on offense. I don't know.
Man, and the thing is that I wouldn't be surprised, because teams, coaching staffs, GMs, they know their roster. They know the talent level. They know the reality of NFL. They know, like, if their team is good or not going into the season. They know. I think, look, I wouldn't even be surprised, to be honest with you. But that's some diabolical shit right there. And I don't think, and if they were going to even
business, that's business.
Yeah, but do you think Mark Davis was aware of that though?
He could have been. This could have been. I mean, dude, I don't know. I don't want to. It's not a conspiracy. Like
it is low key. It
is. But I don't want to like. There's other ways to go about it. They could have just came out and been like, hey, I don't know if coming off of a 10-7 year with the John Gruden situation and all that, if he could have came out and just said, hey, like, we're going to go in the direction. Because I really do think that they committed to DC. I really do. I think they wanted to see what they had there. Is it something that's going to work? I think DC was also open on his side. Hey, I'm going to sign a team-friendly contract. I want this to work for the Raiders organization. I want it to work for me. I want to stay here. And I think that they gave it a shot. I really do. But if that wasn't, if that's not part of Dave Ziegler, Champ Kelly, Josh McDaniels, while they might not be showing a ton of Josh McDaniels specifically, though he might not be showing a ton of leadership on the field right now, hey, could there have been a bigger plan, a bigger picture in place this entire time?
Whew, thank you, God. Hopefully this is, I got to do, at the end of the day, I'm going to do my research a little bit. I didn't see anything before the show, and after the show ends, we're going to look into this a little bit more. But Alfredo says some guy that works for TMZ said the rumors are false.
Great. That's
Nothing
great
is happening with any of the Raiders. I'm glad. Thank
This is
God.
why I didn't even want to bring it up. That's
and
okay.
we got some, I guess it's official. We got people, black.
Hey, y'all, get the thought bots.
Yeah, all right, cool, black, boom. Are they back? All right, cool. But yeah, man. But yeah, hey, I did say I had one more thing on the agenda today. So I recently got to 1,000 subscribers last week. It was a goal of mine, milestone. And to show my gratitude, I wanted to do a give away a prize, have a prize giveaway. So I had people sign up, and the people that sign up are in this jar right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and shake the jar real quick. And the prize, by the way, is a gift card to fanatics.com. So whoever wins will just go to fanatics.com. You can buy all your sports gear. Hopefully it's Raider gear. You know what I mean? That just, but I know the way the season's going, you might get some other team gear. But look, let me shake it up real quick. See who wins. And by the way, I'm not going to be announcing your full name. I'm going to be announcing your username, like I said. So if you're on the chat, hold on one second. I want y'all to see this. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, this is conspiracy. This is set up.
It's I don't want y'all to think it's a setup, man.
This is
think it's a setup. All right. Hold on. Let me.
See, there you go.
Let me just
look at the name and everything.
Nah. It's all crumpled up. I can't see nothing. All right. I'm gonna take out. All right, this person. I'm gonna put it on the camera. See what it is. Let's see. What does that say?
GA Patriot. Shout out
GA
to
Patriot. Oh my God, he's a loyal guy. He always be showing support. So yeah,
that's good, bro.
GA Patriot. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna be sending an email soon with a gift card. It's gonna be an e-gift card to fanatics.com, so you can go buy your gear. Like I said, hopefully it's Raider gear, man. All that I ask is when you do get the gear, maybe take a picture, man. Like if it's a hat, just wear the hat, or if you have the gear holder, just take a picture.
Bro, our two winners were GA Patriot and Sean Johnson. Those are like some two OGs who deserve it, bro.
OGs that always come through, show some love, man. So it's well deserved. But this is not going to be the only time that I do this. My channel's growing every day, so when I have when I hit some milestones, I'm gonna have another drawing and hopefully bigger and better prizes too as well.
Thanks.
But yeah, man, let's get back to the chat, man. We got 100 in the building. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button as well. That algorithm is very real, so I want to keep coming back and keep doing this. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking football with y'all, but as well as Raider Ray as well. We do a weekly show, so I do a show on his channel once a week. He does a show on my channel once a week, and we switch off. So you want to make sure you subscribe to both our channels. If my mods are in here, please make sure to post the links. Appreciate y'all. But let me get back to the chat. Let me see what y'all up to, man, because I'm trying to catch up to these comments.
Auntie Six says the guy that runs TMZ Sports just came out and said all the rumors involving the Raiders are completely false.
Thank you.
Great. That is great. Thank God.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment, Auntie Six, man. I appreciate it so much. That guy that runs, okay, I appreciate that, because I was like, come on, this season cannot, because last season was stressful. Let's be honest, last season was stressful, but what made it so good was the fact that we overcame it. That last season was a special season, but I think if something like that, anything off the field happened to this team, I don't think they would overcome that. This team would not overcome it at all.
That's why as soon as that stuff got brought up, I was like, bro, here we go. This is the iceberg that sinks the ship.
Yeah, facts, 100%. Hey, Al's ghost, 100% facts. That's how I've always felt like that. We need a general as a head coach. Josh isn't a general.
And it, like we alluded to earlier, it does not have to come off as a dictator. But we need a leader of men. We need somebody that the locker room respects, who listens when they speak, who goes out there and plays with passion. That's what I'm talking about, this head coach position, man. That like a Rich Bisaccia, like if he could have brought in really good coordinators, a really top-tier offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, at that head coach position, you don't want to be dabbling too much. You know what I mean? You want to be a leader. You want to be somebody who can functionally run an organization, who can get an offense, a defense, get the team collectively prepared, and have a staff that you can trust to get together and put together good game plans. Like, say what you want. Everybody fought for Rich Bisaccia. The locker room wanted Rich. So you go and get a personality that's completely opposite of Gruden and Rich, and you get this passive, soft coach. Let's be real. It just don't bode well.
And today's show, usually our Tuesday shows are our preview shows. We like to get into the other team. We'll probably get into the Colts later on this week. I mean, they're not a good team. You know what I mean? They're literally, they have a guy that a former player that was on TV became their head coach, and they have a 30-year-old passing game, especially, that's going to be calling plays for the first time. So the Raiders should be able to win this game, but we'll get into their roster and their team. And I think that Gus Bradley has their defense playing well over there in Indy. But at the same time, this is a game that if we lose, Mark Davis better be ready to get rid of. In my opinion, I just, you can't bring a guy like that back, man. Like, it's just, what is he going to show you? What is he going to show you? What like, get younger players, get some different players and do the same thing? Like, I just, man, it is what it is. But any last thoughts, brother? What you got?
No, to be honest, man, I just look at it this way, man. If the Raiders go out here and we lose to the Indianapolis Colts, there's got to be some significant moving and shaking going on in the organization. I mean, it's got to happen. So, yes, it is a conspiracy. I seen him look at a name and put it back.
Nah. It was nah. G.A. Pager, he's a big-time Raider fan. He's a big-time Raider fan. Big-time Raider fan. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody coming through, man. This is a lot of people showed up today, and I'm glad. I mean, they're supposed to show up, man. We talk about the team. We talk football. We love to have good conversations. And I apologize if I didn't get to everybody in the chat. But let us know your thoughts, man, after the show, man. Leave a comment. You know, if we didn't get to your comment, leave a comment down below, and I'll respond to comments. So make sure you leave a comment. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. The Raiders season it's been tough so far, but there is 9 games left. At the end of the day, there's 9 games left, so that's enough time to see some improvement from the team. Hopefully, Josh McDaniels could turn it around. Hopefully, Derek Carr could play better. You know what I mean? He could. I want Derek Carr to succeed. I really do. I really want Derek Carr to succeed because he's been through everything as a quarterback for the Raiders, as much as us watching the Raiders. You know, we've seen every type of dysfunction you can think of, but yeah, man, if you haven't liked the video, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, do you have any last thoughts where they can find you? Anything that you got coming up?
Nah, man. And I'll just address JT's last comment, and you guys can find me over on Raider Ray. It's exactly how it's spelled, and I think Pharoah has the name, just in case you guys can't find it, and the moderators that are in the chat, if you guys can drop the links to our channels, just because we have a joint show. Thank you everybody for tuning in, man. Thank you for spending Tuesday with us. We really appreciate and love chopping it up with the nation, regardless of how any of our opinions differ. We love to have open dialogue. We love to have open and hard conversations that are needed to be had. So, but JT said that, you know, pretty much that the Colts are a tough team, man, and that it's not going to be an easy game. And that's what I've been saying. That's why it wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders go out here and lose. Everybody's saying, oh, they've got a Jeff Saturday taking over the organization, but you know what we're talking about, a leader is Jeff has that locker room. He's a former player and somebody who knows how to be a leader of men, and a guy that a locker room is going to get behind is Jeff Saturday. So, hey, if the Colts come out here and show a passion and more of a desire to play on Sunday than what the Raiders have, I think that's pretty evident of what the Raiders have going on in their locker room. So don't be surprised if the Raiders go out here and lose a tough, close game. I do expect the Raiders should go out here and put away an Indianapolis Colts team who has coaching issues right now. Hey, but nothing is surprising me this season with the Raiders. So with that being said, man, you guys can find me over at Raider Ray, and I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out.
All right, y'all. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.